Shazam is, in my humble opinion, one of the best superhero movies made in recent years. It's really enjoyable, charming, and it actually has a good message and morals that it's trying to properly portray to its audience. And I believe that the movie's setting also plays a large part in that, because Shazam is not only a good superhero movie, it's a good Christmas movie as well. Beyond the obvious things, like it being set in December, the constant snow, and the visual trademarks of the holiday, like Santa Claus, the biggest reason why Shazam just feels like such a great Christmas movie at heart is because the main protagonist goes through a character arc that is a classic trope of the genre. And the movie also even has similarities with the most quintessential Christmas story of them all. So let me explain. Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, published in 1843, is essentially the most popular Christmas story ever written. It is so iconic that it even helped popularize Christmas as a holiday in the modern world. It tells the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, a cold-hearted businessman who goes through a redemption arc where he's visited by three spirits and the ghost of a former business partner of his whom he treated badly. And Scrooge gets confronted with his selfishness, greed, and negative way of being, making him gradually come to terms with his bad traits and becoming a better person by the end of the story. This is a character arc that's been replicated numerous times in a lot of Christmas films, and the Shazam movie doesn't deviate far from this plot because it also very much follows that classic Christmas story structure. Since the story is essentially about Billy Batson's growth as a person and him resolving the feelings of abandonment that he has due to his biological mother leaving him, he starts the movie as a flat-out cowardly, insecure, and selfish person who only cares for himself.
Can I give you a little piece of advice? Don't be worrying about everybody else. Always look out for number one.
But the movie really puts emphasis on why Billy is the way that he is. It clearly insinuates that he developed those negative character traits as a defense mechanism due to his abandonment issues. He doesn't allow himself to care for anyone else or for anyone else to care for him or to get close to him, because if he doesn't get attached to anyone, then they can't abandon him, like his mom did. And so he spends most of his life rejecting people who are genuinely trying to help him in a loving way, but he's ungrateful, and instead, he spends his life chasing a person who literally doesn't want anything to do with him and left him when he was a child.
Hang on.
Who's at the door?
It's no one.
And the film is essentially the story of Billy realizing why he feels and acts so negatively, mainly by allowing himself to have feelings for other people and seeing how his bad attitude can negatively affect those people who are trying to help him. And just like in A Christmas Carol, it is an external being that confronts the protagonist about his negativity. Only instead of being spirits, it's Billy's foster brother and new friend, Freddie Freeman, the one who genuinely tries to explain to Billy the way that he makes people feel, and, well, that he's just kind of a jackass sometimes. All of this is what I personally like to call the classic Christmas character arc, in which our protagonist is shown as acting like an asshole, he slowly realizes he's an asshole, and by the end of the story, he has a change of heart and stops being an asshole. This character arc is, in my opinion, the most crucial element of a Christmas story, and it's the reason why this movie just feels so Christmassy. Another big reason this movie has that holiday spirit so much is its thematic focus on family, being that it really focused on the importance of a group of people who genuinely cares, loves, and supports you. Both the protagonist and the main antagonist of the movie are also parallels of themselves, being that they are both essentially defined by family. In Billy's case, it's his feelings of abandonment which caused him to lash out against the world and be so negative, that was directly caused by a lack of a family in his life, and he is defined by his eventual appreciation of a family as a stable group of people who love you even if they are not blood related. Meanwhile, the film's villain Dr. Savannah is also defined by family, but he is defined by a complete hatred and rejection of his own family who never cared for him.
Family is more than just a word. At Savannah Industries, our focus is family.
A Christmas movie, most times, is also a kids movie, which personally, I much prefer the term an all ages movie, because if you categorize any movie as a kids movie, it kind of belittles it and makes it seem like only children can enjoy that movie. But the best movies for all ages always have something for everybody, and they never talk down to their audience. Just because a movie was made with the intention of young people being able to enjoy it, doesn't mean that it has to be dumbed down. And Shazam very much falls in line with the more nuanced and intelligent all-ages movies. It kind of reminds me of those classic 80s kids movies, which weren't afraid of showing dark or complex issues, like showing gruesome deaths or handling touchy subjects with respect. And it wasn't afraid of showing the villains of the movie as actual threats. And I also think it's very important that we always have superhero content made specifically so that young audiences can also enjoy it. There's always a lot of obsession on our comic book content to be mature, whether it be in the books themselves or the movies or TV shows. But we need to remember that children are the fans of the future. They deserve quality points of entry into the comic book world which are accessible, fun, and easy to understand. That's one of the reasons why I always loved superhero animation so much. And it also helps that Shazam as a concept is pretty much the perfect power fantasy for a kid. To imagine that you could literally transform into a superpowered being in a second, it just ignites your imagination, and there's a reason why Shazam was even more popular than Superman during the 1940s. He's just a character that fills you with that sense of childlike wonder. And I'm happy to say that his very own movie really understands that, and it didn't fail to portray that great aspect of him. So yeah, Shazam is a Christmas movie, a real good Christmas movie. It has it all: the snow, the music, a focus on family, a guy dressed up as Santa, and as we've discussed, it has the classic Christmas character arc. A jackass who goes through a redemption arc, and he stops acting like a jackass by the end. And maybe that's something we can all learn from a little, to take the time to be self-critical and analyze how we can be better people with ourselves and with those who surround us and love us. We can always change for the better, and that's something that Shazam really shows well, so we gotta be grateful for everything. With that being said, I'm really grateful for you watching this video, so Merry Christmas. Even if it's not Christmas when you're watching this, still, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.